Hey guys, good to be here for this week's Labs update. On the session side of things, we've been making really good progress on disappearing messages and the closed group overhaul. So disappearing messages on desktop is now in code review. That just happened yesterday. So Audric's looking through the code now and making sure everything looks good. And we're also writing unit tests for disappearing messages while it's in code review. So that's fantastic. Android's moving along really nicely on disappearing messages as well. Hopefully in the next kind of coming week, we'll be able to get disappearing messages also into code review. It had started code review last week, but we found that there are a few missing features. So we're going to add those and get it re-reviewed, which is fantastic. And we'll also be writing unit tests for that as well. Closed groups is moving nicely. Basically on every platform, Android, iOS, and desktop are now getting to the point where they're writing unit tests for the chunk one of closed groups to make sure that all the functionality that they're delivering in chunk one, which is basically creating a group and being able to change the information in the group and all of that stuff, is working properly. So they're writing the test for that, and then we'll move on to chunk two, which is adding members, kicking people, all of that kind of stuff. So we're working on that now. So the session team is moving nicely, but those are the main tasks we're working on this week. On Oxen Core, we are continuing to work on the BLS kind of scheme that we've been talking about, where the service nodes are able to sign statements that are kind of verified on the Ethereum or the EVM chain. That's moving along nicely. We're now working on a Merkle tree implementation. So essentially what that looks like is you'll be able to put together a state from the service node network of all of the service node rewards, and you'll be able to represent that in a single hash very efficiently on the Ethereum chain. And then when someone wants to claim a balance, they'll essentially prove their leaf in that Merkle tree, and then they'll be able to claim their balance. So it's kind of a well-understood concept in the crypto world. So if you need to know more about that, just Google Merkle trees, and there's a whole bunch of information out there about it. But we're looking into an implementation there to make things more efficient. So that's going nicely, and we have what we think is a good implementation now that we're kind of in the stages of testing on the core side of things. LokiNet is moving forward at a very good pace with their platform kind of refactor, or the internals, the LokiNet internals refactor. It's grown really significantly, that PR, and both Tom and Dan are kind of working on that together. It's now at the stage where the PR is removing 20,000 lines of code, which is very significant for the LokiNet code base, and adding 17,000 lines of code. So net 3,000 lines of code are being removed, and also the whole system is being refactored at the same time. So that's looking like it's going to be a very big PR, and also going to significantly change the underlying kind of foundation of LokiNet, which is great. We'll be able to increase performance and take some of the parts that LokiNet was previously handling and get kind of the quick layer to handle those. So yeah, everything going well on the LokiNet side, and we're making really good progress there too. There's some miscellaneous bits and bobs here as well with PySogs, getting an implementation of Loop-Session, which we're working on now as well. But that just about wraps up what I wanted to talk about this week. So I will see you again next week for another update. See you guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Oxen Labs update. So last week, the biggest news I think was definitely the Cointelegraph article that dropped. And if you haven't peeped it yet, we'll put a link to that in the description. But yes, essentially on Cointelegraph, they published an article about us, and so far it's close to 20k views in less than a week, which is pretty big. And it was the most read story over the weekend that it dropped for them as well. So that's really good for us to know that there's a lot of appetite for Session Token, because the article essentially, if you haven't read it and you're not planning on reading it, it essentially goes over the transition that Session and Oxen are going to do, moving to a layer 2 token. So yeah, the fact that it got so many views like it did really shows that people are interested in Session Token. So that was great to see. So last week we wrapped up a bunch of projects from Q3, now going into Q4, just to get a whole fresh start and hit the ground running on Q4. So that's finalizing strategies and continuing planning for Q4, specifically things like we're looking to increase our engagement rate by 5% and our follower acquisition rate by 7% across Twitter. Also wanting to increase our overall Mastodon audience retention rate by 16%. Also working towards doing the big YouTube channel rehaul, like overhaul, making everything become session token, which we're really close to doing that as well. Hopefully we'll have something done by the end of this week or the beginning of next week. You'll see the brand new changes, the reworked YouTube channel. We also spent some time working on some blog content, and on the foundation front, on the OPTF front, we've been working really closely with our ICD fellow, the Iran Cyber Dialogue fellow, working on the literature review that he's working on right before he goes on to doing some data analysis. So it's been good to work with him there. And then on the session token front, the branding has been going ahead pretty full steam at the moment. It's picking up a lot of pace. Now we're at the stage of playing around with LokiNet and trying to work that into the new session ecosystem that we've got going on. So it's been really good so far, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of pretty visuals to tease out to you guys in the coming weeks. So that'll be cool. And yeah, that's essentially it. That's everything from last week. And you guys stay good, and I'll see you next time on the internet.